Beautiful story there, of course, of resilience, doggedness to ensure that they put food on their table. Right now is time for Trending Now, and Olamide is standing by. Olamide, what's trending now?
How are you doing today?
Beautiful, great.
Always happy to bring you guys the gist of what is going on. Ibrahim is ready for me, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Let's get right into it. As usual, if it's trending, we're talking about it. TVC consistently has our finger on the pulse. In a follow-up on the EFCC murder case, the Nigerian Medical Association in Anambra State has denied claims that Joshua Ikechukwu, the suspect accused of killing EFCC officer Aminu Salisu Sahabi, is a medical doctor. Now, in a statement, the NMA secretary, Dr. Obiaeli Ifeanyi, clarified that Ikechukwu is not a registered member of the association's Oka chapter. He urged the public and media to stop referring to him as a doctor and called for a retraction from the EFCC and media outlets that have reported otherwise. Now, this clarification comes amid heightened public interest in the case as investigations into the tragic incident continue. And this is the statement by the Nigerian Medical Association of Anambra State, signed by the state secretary, and they've said that they want these statements retracted and they demand immediate retraction of all defamatory publications from the EFCC and media. It's clear that they are very intent on the public framing of this case and they want to distance themselves from it. We'll take some social media tweets now. You guys are always talking about what is going on and I appreciate your input. Il Noje says, so even EFCC did not do their due diligence to find out his titles. They went straight to call him a medical doctor. Chai, it is a shame. Another user says, we have another tweet. Technology A. Another user, Andara, says, thank you, NMA, for putting the records straight. I will say that in these kind of cases, it's very important because media framing is key. You know, how somebody is framed in the media can help him or hinder him. We'll take our second story now. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has announced plans to auction 891 vehicles forfeited to the government through an electronic bidding process. In a notice that they shared via their official social media channels, the anti-graft agency has stated that the auction will take place from January 20th to the 27th in accordance with the EFCC Act, the Public Procurement Act, and the Proceeds of Crime Act. Now, this auction is part of the Commission's ongoing efforts to recover and manage assets seized from financial crime cases. Interested buyers have been advised to visit designated auction platforms to view available vehicles and complete the registration process. The EFCC has assured the public of a transparent and legally compliant bidding process. Now, a list of approved auctioneers has been provided, which makes it easier for interested bidders to participate. So if you're on the lookout for a deal, now might be the perfect time to hit up the EFCC. We're going to take some social media reactions. I know I'm happy about these cars, and I might just make a bid. I think the agency is trying to do the right thing here and is being as transparent as they can. Do we have some tweets for this story? Will says, imagine buying one of those vehicles from EFCC as a young Nigerian, only for it to be seized by the same EFCC in the future because you are young and must be a fraudster to be driving such a vehicle. Impossible is nothing when it comes to the absurdities in Nigeria. Let's take another tweet, please. Nki Ezenwa says, public distraction 101. Your agency failed its workers and put their lives in jeopardy. We'll take another tweet now. Thank you for your input, guys. It's always good to know what you guys think. Ino for Chi says, this is just to fulfill all righteousness and to do some damage control. The cars listed here have been sold to their staff and cronies for very little sums. If you eventually buy it over from them, you also be suspected and arrested for being a fraudster until we have evidence that it has been sold to their staff. We cannot come out and say these kinds of things, honestly, especially if our institutions are trying to do the right thing. We must give credit where credit is due. A penny for your thoughts, you guys. Will any of you be bidding for a car soon?
Ibrahim wants to.
Veronica.
I think Ibrahim wants to bid.
Olamide, that will be after you. I guess you were the first person who said you like to bid. But then I do not know what Nigerians and trust trust for the agencies, the government, just like you can't mention it in the same sentence. But let's just trust these agencies for crying out loud. If they are trying to do the right thing, let's encourage them. We can now tell them they should publish the process. You know, they should just publish the process of how they came about, you know, the auctioning, the seizure, and all of that, and who bought what. So it's just so simple. And the EFCC is not getting it right. Who was a person that killed one of their officials? The
guy they claimed was a medical personnel. Obviously, NMA has come out to say that
it's not one of their own.
It's not one of their own, especially that chapter of the state. And so I think the EFCC has to do due diligence, because right now it's in the public eye. And so if you say someone is a member of something, ensure you do due diligence to be sure that they are part of that organization. Then it might also be that the guy did not register, and maybe he's practicing illegitimately or illegally, as the case may be. So these were the hint they got and decided to go after him. Right now, I think that but the EFCC needs to look deeper into their books to know what exactly happened, and they should come out to tell Nigerians that, okay, this is the information they got and how they were able to know that he was a medical doctor. Where did they get that information from?
So investigation is very, very key.
It's key.
So we get the proper information from them.
Yes, it's indeed key.
I'm personally happy to see EFCC trending for a good thing today. In our next story, do you remember someone called Pastor Idowu Iluyomade, the former senior pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God's City of David Parish? Well, he's just launched his own ministry called the Family Fellowship. Pastor Idowu Iluyomade was the former head of the RCCG City of David Parish, which is considered to be one of the most prominent parishes of the mega church. And he was suspended following public criticism after he held a lavish birthday for his wife, Siju, shortly after the death of Herbert Wigwe, the late CEO of Access Bank. Some people deemed the lavish party inappropriate, given that Wigwe was a prominent member of the church. His suspension from the RCCG came with a 3-month break and an investigation into his alleged conduct. Not long after, the pastor tendered his resignation. Well, it looks like he's back in the business of winning souls. What do you guys think about this comeback? Let's take a look at social media. This was him launching his own ministry and inviting us to Sunday service after that hiatus and that scandal. Okikiola says, he's not the first pastor to be suspended from RCCG, and he won't be the last. They all went ahead to open theirs and became independent pastors with RCCG experience. 85 of the new churches with new names emanated from RCCG. Their lead pastors were either suspended or left RCCG. Go and verify. I love that Okikiola has all the church gossip and the church updates. Keep them coming, guys. We'll take another tweet. Chioma says, the church business will continue to strive in Nigeria because people want to believe in something. They want to believe someone is responsible for their problems. They want to believe their pastor has all the solutions to their problems and that he can save them. Pastors, on the other hand, use this mindset as a weapon to extort the people. Thank you for that input, Choma. Mr. Classic says, I guess since Redeem suspended him, God decided to call him personally. Man plans and God laughs, eh? In all things, let's just ask God to direct our steps. In our final story in the international news, President Donald Trump has signed an official policy recognizing only 2 genders, male and female, all across the United States. Following his swearing in as the 47th president on Monday, January 20th, at the U.S. Capitol, Trump outlined his administration's stance on gender identity. Now, according to senior White House officials, the president issued executive orders reaffirming the federal government's recognition of only 2 biological sexes. An incoming White House official stated that the orders aim to restore biological truth and push back against what Trump has called the extremism of gender ideology. This move aligns with Trump's long-standing criticism of progressive gender policies and is, of course, sparking significant debate across the political spectrum. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a girl. We'll take some tweets right now. Nadia Whittom says, As Donald Trump is inaugurated today, we should remember what his presidency was like last time. A disaster for women, people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, and the planet. Solidarity with all those who will be fighting for justice and equality under his second term. Interesting. We'll take another tweet. Minaj says, I don't understand how this is important. Why isn't the homeless or disabled or veterans more of a priority? I've got to say, I agree with you. And we'll take one final tweet now. Garrett says, how does this help everyday Americans and the cost of living? Oh, wait, it doesn't. I think that gender identity issues, for me personally, are a first world issue. I mean, when you're focused on survival and getting through the day like we are in Nigeria, you don't have that luxury of thinking, am I a man or a woman? You get on with it and you do what is required of you as a human being. But I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts on any of these stories.
Well, for Donald Trump, I believe that this is a concern for him because he believes that some of the persons who are changing the gender orientation of these people are just making a kill out of it. And so he wants to establish what the U.S. stands for. Let's not forget, he's the U.S. president, whether anyone likes it or not, and can decide what he believes is good enough for the country. And so that is what his decisions are right now. So he can say that these are the two genders that are recognized in the country, and every other policy that he has put in place. A lot of persons are reacting to what he said and all of it, but he is the president and he already says that there is a new direction for the country. This is the golden era for the US, and that is what he wants to do. So let's allow him. If you are not comfortable, get out. Ellen DeGeneres had already gotten out when she knew that this would not be comfortable for her. So you can toe that path.
Tell them, Veronica, tell them.
Yeah, some people are actually self-deporting already. They're not getting, but then it's also their right to stay within the United States because the right that Trump has, they also have it too. But Trump will have a lot to contend with because 37 countries already recognize this, gender, issue of a thing when it comes to...
He doesn't care.
So he doesn't care. We'll have to contend with United Kingdom, Canada, even the United States and all of those countries. But the truth is, whether, as Trump puts it, gender extremism or biological truth, whatever the case may be, what we know is that God actually created man and woman. So,
just two of them.
So the orientation of, yes, I feel like this is the way I feel from inside of me. Hey, you just need to see the doctor. I just feel that's the situation.
I think we also have to remember that sex and gender are two very different things.
Yeah.
One is biological while the other is performed.
You see, that is how they get us confused. That's how they don't take us there. Don't take us down that road. That's how they got us confused.
Either you are a man or a woman.
I agree.
You are not neuter. If you're genderless, then you're neuter. I have not seen anyone who is neuter. Yeah. Do you understand? So whether gender, sex, these are some of the terminologies that they bring up to confuse us, giving a different
I completely agree with you guys.
I'm talking about Pastor Iloyomade. Congratulations to him. Well, it's actually an emotive issue for the Wigwe family and those who are sympathetic of the incident then. But it doesn't mean he's just a man and he can make mistakes. So I feel probably he has learned from the mistakes. Those who feel that, yes, he's a man, we can worship through his church, we can get to God through his church, of course, they have the right to go to his church.
And I'd like to just quickly say this. Yeah. For every action, we'll give account before God. Absolutely. So whatever it is he's doing that anyone feels aggrieved by, because he has tendered his apology and he has said that he's sorry, and when things weren't working well, he decided to start his own church. Absolutely. So let him stand before God and give account at the end of the day. Let's leave it at that.
Let's focus on the fruit and not the person.
All right. Olamide,
what kind of fruit? Yeah.
Thank you,
guys.
Avocado?
Spirit.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we'll leave it here now. Thank you so much, Olamide, for the conversation. Now, this is where we'll have to draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the Ladies, and after